All right, I think it's working. Let me check the YouTubes and make sure it's working. Hey Chris, thanks for joining. Where's my shit? Go to my channel. Go to here. Do I see myself? I do. I see myself. Cool. Alrighty. I guess I'll wait a couple minutes. Maybe a few more people join in, and then we can start playing around with some stuff. This is always weird because StreamYard is like delayed on YouTube. And then what you guys see is delayed too. So if you say something and it takes a couple minutes for somebody to answer, that's why, is because there is a delay. Hey, Elites, what's up, man? All right. All right. Let's see, y'all. So normally when I do these, I don't really start with anything in mind. Today's going to be a little bit different. I have an idea for something I haven't made in a long time, and I want to make something. But you guys are going to get to essentially help with the, I'd call it the design process, but that's not exactly accurate to what I'm trying to say. So it's been a while since, I don't know if any of you guys know, that a couple years ago I made, before or right around when I made Roller, the first one that doesn't fit in Earthrise, because it actually fits in the G1 trailer. I made these little Battle Master cars. So you take your little Battle Masters and you turn them into their gun modes and you plug them into the top, and they're just little cars. And there was the truck for Overkill. No, I can't remember his name now. Been a long couple weeks. But basically, they're all little vehicles. I used to print a bunch of them for the kids and stuff. I've never sold any of them, but I've given them out to some friends. And it's been a while since I made one of those, and I think today would be a good day to make another one. Hey, David. Hey, Joe. So here in a minute or so, I'm going to flip over and move my face over. Wait, camera's weird. Move my face over this side and pull up the working plane, the work plane in Tinkercad, and we are going to design a car. Because most of this, like a couple of the parts I already have designed and they're saved. So really you just build around those. And we're going to make a car. And I think, cool, my caliper's right there. Do I have a headmaster around here? Because I want to do something different. I don't want to do another Battle Master car. I want to make a headmaster car. There's headmasters behind me. That's fine. And so we'll do that. And as we go along, I'll ask you guys for some input and look over at the chat and stuff. So I have two monitors, so you guys are right here, but the work plane's over there. Kind of wish that was mirrored so this would look right. So I'm going to be looking over here at the screen where I'm working. I can kind of see the chat out of the corner of my eye. And we'll take your ideas and try to come up with something cool together. And then I'll print it out. Right now the printers are off just so I can do this, but we will. I'll print one out, put it together, and then I'll put it up on Instagram. And if you're on this stream, and I'll say this again at the end, if you're on this stream and I put it up on Instagram, tag yourself in the photo. So any of you guys follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. I post weird shit all the time. At the end of this, after I print it and I post a picture of it on Instagram, go tag yourself in it because you helped make it. I think that is only fair. You have to forgive me. I'm a little bit tired, and it's been a long couple weeks for reasons I'm not getting into this video, but I've posted some stuff about it. This is just tea. I ain't drinking. Don't drink. All right. So let's see. Bow. So now my face is in the bottom. So over here you'll see. Wait, let's do it over here. Over here, you will see I have a little section over here called Your Creations. This is little stuff that I've saved over the years making stuff. It's not many things, but the important things are the axles. These are the same axles for all of the cars, and these axles are the base of the axles that work on the roller. And so I also went and made a quick. This is the basic. You can't get any more basic wheel that becomes any of the Battermaster wheels. They're all basically, this is it, and then I customize them into whatever we want. Whether we want tread on them, whether we want them slick, what kind of centers we want them to look like. That all happens after this point. So I went ahead and made that a shape. Color code these a little bit. So that's the wheel. So we got to design the wheels too. And then this is the axles. And hold on a second. Let me grab a headmaster. Let me get a little head real quick. And if you've never been on one of my streams and what I just said shocked you, you probably don't want to stick around. I'm just being real. Where are the headmasters? All right. So we've got a couple of options. We'll use, they're the same size. So we've got a couple of the Prime Master Pretender bots, another Prime Master Pretender bot, and then the little Fangry, which is awesome because I have the big one, but I can't reach it right now because my desk's in the way. And the head that came with this one actually looks really good on that one, but we use that head because he's got a sticking out chin, so if he can fit in a seat, anybody can. So, and I've done this before, but I'm going to do it again on camera. We are going to take a little head out. We're going to take our little dude out right now. And we're going to take out our calipers. Turn them on. Always zero your calipers. These are like $5, $10 at Harbor Freight. Super cheap. So if you're interested in anything, make sure they're zeroed because they will get knocked out of alignment just from using them. We're going to take some measurements. So we want our dude to sit like a dude sits. So the first thing we got to do is measure out roughly how wide it is. So he's about 14.61 millimeters. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take a cube. We're going to call that 15. You need wiggle room. So that was him like this. And then like this, if I take his big old honking chin into the equation, is 27.86. So we're going to call that, that was my phone. It was 27.86. Let's call it 29. So basically, this block right here represents him. Because you only need those two measurements. Because you just need to be able to fit him in it. So this is basically going to be the shape we'll work around to make the seat. And we'll know how wide to make things and everything else. Let me look at the chat again. I just watched Paper Prime's video of Mega Pretender Roadblock. Great looking vehicle, something like out of G.I. Joe. Very true. Very true. How long does it take to print something like a wheel? I print... I print the Nemesis roller wheels a dozen at a time. That's the thing about 3D printing. If you print something one at a time, which I usually do, because your percentage of failures goes way down when you're only printing one thing at a time. Because if you have one failure, that's one loss. But your build plate, which this one's magnetic and comes off of one of my new printers, is this big, and I can fit on a red one for contrast. I can fit a ton of these little wheels all over this thing, right? Yeah. I can fit a ton of them, but I only print like a dozen at a time. And that's because the nature of 3D printing, because you're starting at the bottom and you're working your way up, it prints all of them at the same time. So it does. Here's the bottom of this wheel. 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 Next layer. Here's this layer. Here's this layer. Here's this layer. And it keeps building them all up. And if you have a failure at any point, it will ruin all of them. 9 times out of 10, it will ruin all of them. You'll get one that might pop off the build plate and it starts getting dragged around. It starts messing up all the other ones, and you'll just end up with a big pile of mess. So when you ask that question, print one wheel, somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour, depending on the settings. Could be, it's not going to be like 15 minutes. My wheels are too big and I make them too solid. But to print a dozen of them, I think it's like 3 hours. So whereas it takes a little bit longer to print one at a time, for certain things, I only print them one at a time. The Dino Rider sets, I only print every piece one at a time because those things fail. The Dino Rider sets, and I know you guys all love the Dino Rider sets, and we're getting new Dino Riders, and yes, I'm going to make stuff for them, are a pain in the ass to print. Not going to lie. Because when they don't look right, I throw them in the trash. Well, I don't throw them in the trash, but I toss them to the side because if they don't look right, I just don't like them. Like, as an example, like, there's one of the guns. It's still on the little build plate, right? And I messed up. And right here, this shouldn't be going up there. So when you peel that off, because this is just a support, we peel that off, though, it left, like, kind of some nasty marks on the inside of the gun. And even if I try to clean it up, it doesn't look right. So that was all right, go back and reslice everything and take away some of the supports. But if I would have printed 20 of these, and they all did that, that would have been 20 of these that are just trash. Even if they finished, it would have been 20 of them that was just trash. David. Okay, that's why it's not cheap to get things made. Thing you have to remember if you want things made. Things take hours in print. If somebody's printing things for you, you are basically, you're paying for their time and their machine's time. Yeah, machines use electricity, but it's marginal. I mean, it's a tiny amount. But basically, you are paying for, I'm going to turn my volume up. You are paying for your machine's time at that point. And the designer's time. Like, if you've only got one printer and you're printing things for people, you can't ever print anything for yourself. I've had that. It's not fun. When I had one printer, it sucked when I was printing a bunch of stuff for other people, and you get really burned out because I can't make anything new. I can't make anything new. I can't do test prints. I can't print anything I want to make for myself. That's one of the reasons. Like, I made the Toy Maker 3D, designed the back of the Ark and its drawers. That took me over a month to print because I couldn't keep I couldn't tie up my printer constantly and still be able to print stuff for people or print any new stuff. And I know my output's not been quite there lately, but that's why that took over a month to print, and it should have only taken a week. It still would have taken a week, even if I had one printer running constantly. It would have taken a week, but it took over a month because, if you have one machine, you're tying it up. I mean, I have 3 machines now, and I have green in that one, and red in that one, and black in that one, and they were all printing stuff. Like, since everyone liked the minigun so much in that OD green, I figured I'd make the Ma Deuce in green. I got to do something about the settings. It's not printing right, but so green's in that one for anybody who likes the miniguns. I'm going to print some more miniguns because they sold out, which is awesome. Thank you, guys. So back to what we were doing. All right. So we know this box represents the seating position of one of these little pots. And it's not going to be on the ground. You know, you have to have a underneath, right? So let's raise this thing up. Let's raise it up, say 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters is a small amount, but it's enough to get enough solid plastic underneath it that it's not gonna, you know, you're not just gonna accidentally punch through it. You know what I mean? Now I know you're seeing this right here, and you see this intersection. You're like, oh well, these have to move. Ah, crap. Control Z. Well, these can't be there because that's not actually true, because I can notch that out. This is just a basis to get a wheelbase, and so I know that those pins fit these wheels. That's it. And you're not limited to just 2. Roller has 3 axles. Hey, Chris. I'm going to say hi, but I already said hi to you. You must have come back. So welcome back. So basically, what I like to do, in a car, your front wheels are going to be out front, right? You know what we could? Ooh, we could rat rod this. We could 100% rat rod this car. So first, I want to center everything up. You don't know what a rat rod is. Is that the spinning minigun I saw in the video with Springer? Hold on. Oh, here he is. So Springer, in that video, which is really old from when I first made the minigun, that video I put up just to demonstrate that it spins. But I then printed it in this OD green with black barrel handle and things. And yeah, it spins. But it looks great with Hound here, but it looks really good with Bulkhead, who is right now holding the Ma Deuce. Ma Deuce is a real gun. So I guess a minigun's a real gun, but the Ma Deuce is 100% based on another one. Another real gun. But yeah, these look way better than the stuff Bulkhead came with. And yeah, I'll have the FC shop back up soon. It's just priorities at the moment. Came back from bedtime. I'm not going to ask how old you are, Chris. I don't want to know. Just parental advisory. And yeah, these videos are not for children. And I cuss a lot. Don't get caught. I'm joking, man. Focus. All right, so let's rat rod this thing, right? Let's see. All right, that's all centered out. This cutting into this does not matter whatsoever. We need a base. Let's make this green just so I know which square I'm looking at. So to make a base, let's stretch this thing. Yeah, I know what we're gonna do. It's gonna be fun. Let's do. First, we will do this. I'm gonna line that up with barely the inside of where you can see that. Does not have to be perfect. I will recenter everything, and that is gonna go to there. Whereas this is going to go to there. We're going to drop that down just so I know what the body of the car will be about that big. Yeah, body of the car will be about that big. Well, we already have a couple pieces that would work for what I'm about to do. It's not going to be square. I'm just trying to do the body. How to handle the back of this vehicle. Grab us one of these. Wiggle, wiggle. Pop that up over where his head would sit. Yeah, kind of like that. Grab another box. What is this thing? 5 by 20. That's easy enough because it's already 20. So make that a 5. Over here, alignment. I love these alignment tools. Alignment. Drop that down to be about there. You have to be careful when you do this, because if you do this, when you make all of this one mesh, sometimes it'll leave that seam there. Now, when I print it, it probably won't. You won't know. You won't see it. But if you're not careful, you'll have a gap, and it'll make that gap part of your model. And when you go to print it, it'll try to render it and print it and slice it with a gap in the middle of it, and you will have stuff that just breaks off. I've done that in the past, and it's not fun. Well, if we're gonna do that. Oh shit. Let's do this. Awesome. Are they up for sale? The miniguns or the mod deuces? The miniguns I have put up on Etsy twice and have sold out within a couple of days both times that I put them up, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make sure it's aligned with this. It is, right? Yay. Let's duplicate that. Line that. With that side right there. Do that. Hell shit. I already got this one made, so just duplicate that. Spin it. Come on. There you go. Do. Ah, shit. Align that, align that, align that, drop that, come down like that. Cool. Duplicate that, come over here, select that one. Alignment tool. I have a feeling somebody's going to make a kit to turn that Wrecker bulkhead into Movie Hound. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Well, no, it actually wouldn't, because Movie Hound is kind of a ridiculous looking character. John Goodman did a good voice in the voice acting for it, but it's kind of a ridiculous character. Joe, sorry I wrote that to your family. I just had one. It sucks. My condolences. Yeah, it's rough. Joe, I'm sorry for your loss as well, man. But, and I'm not going to get a whole lot into it, but my mom always loved what I did doing this stuff, so I'm going to keep doing it. You know what we ought to do? That really should just be the whole back. Well, no, actually, I don't like that. That looks silly. I don't like that. Let's do... Ooh, wait a minute. What can I do here? Let's drop it like it's hot. Because Snoop Dogg is amazing. Little angle bit there. We'll throw details in this too. When we get down to the details is when you guys are going to come in really, really handy. Handy manny. Let's extend that 54. Extend that 54. Now you see how this is going to cut in? That's a good thing. That means when I change this from a solid into a hole, it is going to cut out all the space that we need to drop the headmaster in. And then we can add a little couple details here and there. We can do a couple things. But as long as this looks like this, we're pretty good. I'm going to keep it solid right now in case I accidentally select it and then put it all in. The basic shapes. Yeah, I'm digging on these tonight. I'm digging on these, and I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. Because you ever look at an old rat racer? And I have a vehicle, I think, that I kind of already is going to look like this, now that I think about it. One of the ones that I made before. Ah, shit. Bastard. I don't want to be that narrow. 13. There we go. Let's do that. Do that again. Now, if you hold shift and you select one of these little things, it scales everything down, which is one of my favorite things to do. Is that still aligned? Hell yeah, it is. Because what that means is that I can do stuff like this. Just like that. Dang, you know what? If it's going to be a rat rod, change this, pull this back. All right, only look at this side. I'm going to show you something I'm going to do. Okay. Only look at this side when I do this. So normal vehicles, yes, these are in line, but we don't have to do that because we can pull these wheels way in the front. And I think I like that. What do y'all think? First question for the show. What do you guys think? Do we have the wheels aligned or do we pull it in? I think I like pulling it in, and then we'll make smaller wheels for the front. Reminds me of building a racer for my son using coconut. Yeah, kind of. One of those downhill racers or the CO2 racers. David, I like the blue part you put in the back, but like it longer, like a ramp. Well, I don't want it to be a ramp. Well, I just want to add a different shape back here. We're going to fill this in. Pull in. Yeah, like a drag race car. All right, I got one pull in. Do I have any pull out? Pull it. All right. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to cut this thing in half. This thing is 40. Make this 20. Align this with this. You'll see why I'm doing this in a second. That's a cut box. Let me drop it down just to make sure. It's like this. It's going to group those two things together. When you group a cut with a solid, takes a second. Come on. There it goes. Now there's only half of it. See? So what we're going to do is duplicate it. And then we're going to flip it. And then I like to make sure that my stuff is even. And the best way I know to do that is 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2. There we go. Those are dead ass even together. It'll pull the wheels tight. Wheels in the back. So we gotta have to do something about the way this looks. Idea. Boop. Idea. Grab this shape. Oh, I hate when it does these dark ass colors. Let's do align you with you. But then I want this to go up. And this is going to be thin. And not quite touch where he sits. We're going to leave that there for now, and you'll see what we're going to do. All right, so... oh, shit, just grab another one of these. Ah, wrong way. Connect that there. Now the angle is going to be a little bit weird. It'll be okay. Now that I have all these things, I don't need this to be out this far. We can just pull this in. See? You have to forgive my idiot dog over there playing with a water bottle. Yo! Cut it out. I think he probably wants water. Now, excuse you. No, dude. Make that like that. It's going to be a hole. Do that. Then I want to do that. Do that. I don't like that being dead flat. We're going to put like a 10-degree angle on it. Oh, David, you don't even want to know how many spools this dog has eaten. You know, you buy $20, $30 filament and you come home and the spool is ripped to pieces and there's just pieces of filament everywhere. Yeah, he does that because he's an asshole. Do that. Hey, you, here. No. Wrong button. You and you. Oh, I'm holding the wrong button. Bloop. All right, so we got that going. Got that going, got that going. Shit, I can just do this. That's now the same size, but I'm going to angle that, so that. No, we didn't measure. So, and we'll add this sort of. We'll do something about this. So when you look at one of these little dudes, when they're sitting, they have this notch here. But right now, our cube, this cube right here represents this length and this width. It's not factoring in his legs. It's not factoring this little notch right here. This little notch doesn't count. We'll deal with that in a minute. But it's not factoring in the legs. And I like so that when they sit in it, there's something covering part of their legs. They don't have to be tight. I just don't like their legs just flat. I don't like just setting them in there. So, let's see. Calipers. Where the fuck are my calipers? There we go. Roughly 7. So we already know that those measurements. So let's drop this thing down to 7. That's how tall his legs are going to be. So let's give him. How big do I want this? It's going to go over here. How big do I want it? You have to be a little bit careful with what we're doing here because we're going to have to cut out to make sure that the wheels fit. Might do. We're not going to give him fenders because that's going to be really pain in the ass to clean up. But we can do this. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Okay. Yeah. Let's center this on this. That's a good center point. Damn it. Center this on this. Pull it in. 1. And no. No, I don't want to pull it in 1. We'll do this and this. Oh, I got a cool idea. You're going to like this idea. I like this idea. All right. So The legs are also only going to take up about 16 millimeters. So we're going to duplicate this thing. Bring it back up. And right now it is 29. We're going to bring this in 10. Right? 10. So we're going to bring this in until it says 19. Okay. Now, anything we put across here, I'm going to merge these two pieces together. The reason I'm going to merge those two pieces together is because I want those to be what cuts out the hole for the dude. Those are going to have to be our dude hole cutter. Sorry. That's our dude hole cutter. That's what I'm calling it. So we can move around some stuff here. Like this thing, I like the idea of this being here, but we can mess with this, put it to there, just to kind of have some stuff. And we need port holes. We need a place to put some 5mm ports, because this wouldn't be something I made if it didn't have vents and 5mm ports. What else do I like? What else do I want to do? What do I want to do with this? Well, let's drop that down, actually. Okay, do that like that. I want to give him a windshield. So you can see part of his legs are going to be covered. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Go big or go home. We're going to do this. All right, so there are some tricky tricks we can do with this. That looks a little bit silly. Let's make it smaller. And we're going to turn the steps way up. Theoretically, that should print okay. That should print okay. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so I'm going to do this once just to get a feel for how this is going to look. So we're going to select everything, and we're going to group it. Cut out his hole, cut out for where his legs go. It's got some overhangs that we're going to have to deal with because you don't want overhangs like that on a print like this. You do not want to have to go underneath here and print. Or you have to go up underneath here and print and pull out support material. Let's make this all one solid color. This stuff you see on the bottom will go away. That's one of the last things that I do. I mean, it's not the best color. Let's do... There we go. Now you can see all the lines. So this lined up perfectly. No seam. You can see where the cutout made this weird little square, and it does that, and I hate it. There's a way to fix it. We're going to fix it. This is just for me to get some general shape ideas. Now, this is our wheel. Now, this obviously is not going to be the permanent wheel. And I'm just trying to sort of eyeball align it. That's about where it would sit. So this is where it's more like that is where. Yeah, there you go. That's where the wheel will sit for the back. We'll make smaller ones for the front, which means if we want to do something that's like a faux fender, we're not going to do a real fender because then you got to deal with supports. But if you want to do some kind of a faux fender, that means two things. We're going to have to cut part of this out, which is not going to be difficult at all. bring something out along this edge, just along this top up here. We're going to put something in the back. I don't know what yet. We'll define some of this engine compartment here. We'll put in a grill. We'll probably put lights here. We will, here, let's just do this now. For these wheels that are going to go in the front, the trick I like to use is you take this piece, crank up the wall thickness, crank up the sides, put this piece, you center it on, hey, damn it, center it on this. And then turn this into a hole. And then you can kind of guesstimate what you want your wheel size to be. And then when you group these, you now have smaller wheels. Hit F to focus. Drop it like it's hot. Hey, damn it. And that is roughly what you're looking at as far as wheel placement. These don't have this does not have a bevel on it. This has a bevel on it. That's why this looks so much wider than this does. They're the same width. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Oh, okay. So I'm going to move these wheels over here. These are going to be our bases for the wheels. This is the main body. We are going to ungroup this. And I know what I want to do. Let's see. This tool, this right here, changes your work plane. It says word up here, it says work plane. So wherever I put this now becomes my new bottom. So if I put this here, the world now builds on this plane, which can get really disorienting. Sorry. I know what I want to do. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Let's do 8. Oh, this will work. Crank up the sides. Add a little bit of a bevel because I like adding a little bit of a bevel. And you know what? Let's get stupid with some stuff. Hey, Larkin. Duplicate it, flip it. I want these two and this. I want this being the center point, focal point. That's getting kicked to there. That's going to get kicked. Oh, I should have. Oh, hold on. There's a thing that I do to make sure that I'm centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. That don't look right. Hold on. What did I do? 6? Yeah, that's what it is. It's 6. Do that. Duplicate this again. This time I want it to be straight. We're going to drop that right there. If any of you haven't realized this, sometimes I just make stupid stuff for my own enjoyment. And this is going to be classified as stupid stuff for my own enjoyment. I see what's wrong. We have some things that are out of alignment. This right here is not centered, and it's throwing everything I'm trying to do off, and it's messing with me. Hold on. I got to fix the work plane before I do anything weird. Because this shit's not lined up. Or it is lined up, but this is a weird, funky... All right, hold on. We're going to make that one piece. And then we're going to line this shit up. Because that was messing with me. Break that back apart. Change our work plane back to here. So this, this, and this should now all be aligned with the center of this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That now centered all of that. And we've got that the way we want that. Now I'm going to use this thing. Now there's a better way to do what I just did, but because I'm kind of like half doing things in a weird way. Whenever you make ports for transformers, if you use this program, always make sure you turn your sides all the way up, because if you don't, and this has some kind of like an octagon shape to the center, you don't want to use those as pins or as ports. It's a pain in the ass. 5, 5. Thickness of 5. Because that generally works the best for blast effects. And then I'm going to center it. And I'm going to center it. And then I'm going to invert it by 5. So let's do the same thing over here. 5, 5. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. See, I almost just did it. Turn the sides up. Down, right down, and then 5. All right, then fix the work plane. Put it back the way it was. So now there's a couple of added things I'm going to do, because we are going to flatten off the bottom of this thing. So first, I drop this down. Not a whole millimeter. I drop it down 1/2 millimeter. Because it is a cylindrical item, and trying to print that would not work. Okay. So now we have the 3 exhausts back here, which we can still adjust partially. Like I can take the... Right. Move this up if we want. I think that looks better. We can also pull it in a little bit. That doesn't look right. Leave that like that. Now see all this stuff sticking out of the bottom? That part's there sticking out of the bottom. These are all sticking out of the bottom. Now these are dropped down, all that. You take a cut piece, cover the whole thing, and then invert that thing like this. And as long as it's bigger than what you're doing, when I go to do this, and I group this whole thing together, which is going to take a second. Larkin, I am going back to some roots, and I used to make those the Battlemaster buggies. Well, this one is specifically for headmasters. So we're making a rat rod for headmasters. No, I don't. And make this thing canary ass yellow. There we go. So we've got 3 blast effect ports in the back. We have our axles drop down. Everything now is smooth on the bottom. If you see here, this is now smooth and this is now smooth instead of rounded. That is how you print roller, so that these tabs print right. There's a should be, that's a weird little divot. Oh, I get what that is. I'll fix that. Still have to get rid of this because that's not going to print right. But yeah, your battle masters will slide right into, or your headmasters or your Titan masters will drop right into there. There is still work to be done. Still have to do the grill, add some details, and do the wheels. But yeah, I like this. I like this. And now, so we have these 3. Like, we can make this a 6-cylinder, or we can make it a 3-cylinder. I'm going to make it a 3-cylinder because it's funny. Because, hey, you Canadian guys, the Suzuki Swift is a 3-cylinder turbo Geo Metro, and I know that because a friend of mine used to have a Suzuki Swift. What we will do, we're going to take this, and we are going to notch this out just a little bit. Three, no, 3 is too small. 4. Drop that way down, 2.5. I'm going to turn the sides down. And drip. Yeah. There we go. There's the carbs. Flames are cool. I'm not trying to engrave flames into this that will print to where you can tell that they're flames. That's not a thing that's happening tonight, at least. I've got a big green or blue movie Optimus that has flames on it. All right, I gotta cut that down a little bit. We don't need that to do that. We have our clearances now. We just need it to do that. But how thick is this? 5. We're gonna do a trick so that it stops cutting into that. Okay. Hold on. We gotta do something. Yes, I am Oompa Looping while I'm recording. Oompa Loompa Loompa Dee Doo. Duplicate. Ah. does that look? That doesn't right at all. That angle's not right. What am I doing? Is that angle right? Yeah, that angle's right. Yeah, Night Watch Optimus. That's what it is. I've been trying to get rid of that thing forever. I do not like Movie Prime. Actually, you know what? We're going to make this easy. I'm just going to center this on this. I'm going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to mirror it that way, and then we're going to say 1, 2, 1, 2. There. Just want to add a little bit more detail that way. But then we have to do this, because otherwise we're going to have weird bits of loop everywhere. And this is a handy trick for making like little wiring looms. Go from the underside, cut out all of that. Go there. Da, 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 da. So this. Wrong button again. This. To this. Group that together. It will cut all of that out. You will never see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got all engrossed in what I was doing.
Hey, very cool.
So we're making a 3-cylinder, 3-carb, 3-cylinder. It could still be 6-cylinder, but it's 3 carbs. Little buggy for a headmaster.
Mm-hmm. So they can race?
Well, I can race the Battle Masters because I made all those Battle Master cars a couple years ago.
Nice.
So I'll have blast effects can be put in these 3 here.
Very cool.
It will have, you technically could use the roller wheels in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But then the front wheels, you'd have to, there is a little drag car that I made for Battle Masters that has very small wheels, but they use the same pegs. You could use those in the front if you wanted.
Hey, modularity is it's great. You know, I mean, it helps also for future designs.
Oh yeah. And then it's fun to tell people that, like, here, I'm gonna tell everybody on the stream right now a fun little surprise. If you have a printer and you take any of the barrels of the guns from anything that I made so far that rotates, so that's the minigun, the guns that goes on the Dino Riders, any of them, all of those barrels are interchangeable.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, if you wanted to put the minigun, what is it? How many barrels on the minigun? Is it 8 or 6?
It's
8.
like the Legos of firearms.
Yeah. If you wanted this instead of the laser cannon or the triple barrel, I think it's a triple barrel that's on one of them, you can swap them out. Now, if I made them for you, good luck, because when I put these things together, I use this press back here to set them, because I don't glue them. They press, but they are so tight tolerances that I have to use that and real carefully like compress them down so they won't fall apart. So, but if you print your own, you can do it however you want.
So after you do, I'm just curious with your like for designing. After you do your designs, do you try to I guess go back after you do an initial print, go back and then see, like, adjust for just to give for minimal supports?
I've gotten really good at designing for minimal supports beforehand, but yes, I will. like I was actually showing off this thing here. So this is one of the guns for, I think this is, Jesus, I can't remember. I think this is the guns for Wingfinger.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it did the supports when I wasn't paying attention because I did tree supports is it put this little row of crap right here.
Mm.
So when it supported the venting right here, it gnarled it up. You probably can't tell. And it didn't need supported. I've printed these 1,000 times. They don't need supports, but it tries to add supports because of my settings in order to support a couple of other things. So instead of redesigning the way it works, because I know it works, I go back and have to change out the settings so that it stops supporting it because it doesn't need it.
Have you tried Cura 5 yet? Like, have you messed around with it?
So I'm still on Cura 4.8 because Cura 4.9 wrecked all of the Trunksy settings. Everything, literally everything downsized by 10%. I have no idea why.
I watched I guess they had a live stream about or a video on all the new features of 5, and it sounds really impressive on paper. So I've been messing with it, because they said with the new slicing settings, like prints come out like 10 to 20 can potentially be up to 20% faster just from the way it slices. And then the other feature that I'm gonna try out when I have the printers free to print something else.
I was explaining to them that. I was explaining to them how, like, yeah, sometimes 3D printed stuff is expensive because you're paying for not only that part, but you're also paying for the time. And if somebody, like, I used to only have one printer. So when I was printing things for people on an individual basis before I started the Etsy store with one printer, that meant that I couldn't design, I couldn't print, I couldn't do anything else except print orders for people.
That's one reason why I got that small Ender 2 Pro, was just to try and like I needed something for myself to do a quick prototype out of. And most of the stuff I print is not that huge, right? But it's I wanted to try the Cura stuff because it was saying that you could print. You know how if you scale things down really tiny, there's the walls become invisible because it's too small.
Yes.
Well, they said in that video that they've improved in a way that they can even go smaller now. So I'm curious how small. So I designed that. Remember, a while ago I designed a really tiny Optimus Prime. I'm gonna give that a shot and see what happens. Because that one to me is only resin, right?
Right. That to me would only be resin.
So I want to see how small I can go on a FDM with the new Cura and just mess with it and stuff. So it sounds pretty interesting. One thing I did notice though was I did a side by side with a G code made in the prior version and a G code in 5, and it did print quicker. Not 20%, but I'm assuming that's the when they have these numbers, they have their best case, right? Number,
of course, right
at the high end. But it was I would say maybe 7% faster. It's still faster.
That's still pretty good. I mean, if it's 7% faster, 10% faster, anywhere really.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about hours, I mean that's these were some things.
And I'm sure that would probably be the case for the Ender 2 Pro that I got from Micro Center.
Oh,
but these Trunksies, man, the slightest thing, they are finicky as hell. So,
man,
I worry sometimes about like I was on 3.9 until I upgraded to 4.8.
Oh wow, jeez.
Because every time I would upgrade, it would screw up all my settings, and nothing would print right.
Oh,
and I'd have to roll back, and I got tired of rolling back all the time.
Yeah, that's the hard part. But I think the nice part with Cura now, like I can run them side by side. Like I still have what version of Cura was this? 4.13, and then I also have an install of 5. So just in case, it's not fun to just mess around with one for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about 5 from some of the 3D printing groups that I don't talk about.
Oh,
they are seeing vast improvements in those prints on 5.
which is amazing, because all it is it's not like you're upgrading the printer. You're just upgrading its instructions, what to do, which is kind of cool in a way. You know what I mean? Like if you can just tell it to work, you're basically saying, hey, don't work this way, work this way. It's a lot smarter and a lot faster, but you're taking the printer's same capabilities, but telling it to do a better job.
Basically, yeah. Like, just do this a bit better, just a little bit better, just so I stop getting so angry with you, and we'll be good.
What does it say? Work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
It's telling the printer work smarter.
If you got to with these things, because if you do like enough, I mean, you know, and I know, but I mean, you guys watching know. Well, you might know by now, listening to me bitch about it all the time. But there become so many things that become so tedious doing this. Like, there's a reason I have several parts that are saved, that because I'm always going to use those axles. Those axles work great for me. I am not recreating those axles because I couldn't even remember how I made them now, because that was 2.5 years ago when I first made those axles.
Plus, you have the tolerances made for your printer, and so you know it will always work. And then the way it slices, right? Because even though sometimes you design something, if you don't take to the consideration of how you're going to slice it, sometimes, well, the tolerances will be good on paper, but if it doesn't slice that way and it's smaller or whatever, then why reinvent the wheel? But have you still not saved a handle as a part? Because I remember last time we were chatting, you still make those all the time.
I make them so fast, like here, like turn the sides all the way up, change this, 5. I have a handle saved, right? And I made one.
Yeah.
And after I made it, I realized I didn't actually like it, because in certain figures it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have the closed hands, the fully encapsulated hands, it works fine. But as soon as you get a figure like Laser Optimus, whose hand is circle but open, if you don't have 360 pressure on that peg, it falls out. So this is what he's talking about, everybody. When I literally, every gun, I make the same friggin' handles, and I usually set this to 1. I make the same handle for almost everything every time, and I do it every time I make something, and that's a handle to almost every gun. And I don't know. All right, you know what? Fine.
Save it.
I'm going to drop this to 15, because that's generally how long I make them anyway. And we will go to my creations. See, this right here is an old handle. It's a pin, is what I called it. And then we will create shape. Arkin made me do it. Save shape.
Hey, I just saved you like 10 seconds every time.
There. Now every time I got to remember. Now it's almost going to take me as long to remember that my creations thing is there.
No, you're going to make it manually again, and then that thing's just going to stay in the drawer.
Or the next time I do this, I'm going to be making one manually, and it's just all of a sudden you're just going to be there yelling at me in the chat. Look in your favorites.
Grab it.
Favorites.
Man. Are you printing this out, or are you going to just design
it? What I told everybody I'm going to do,
we
aren't at the point yet where I've gotten a lot of feedback. There was a few things, like we decided on, whether or not to pull the wheels in or leave them aligned with each other. And we're about to get into the part where we're going to get into the smaller details, where everyone in the chat, however many people are left, because I've been doing this for like an hour, are going to make decisions. So everybody who's in the chat at the end of this, I am going to print this. I'll probably print it tonight. I'm going to post it up on Instagram, and I want everybody in the chat to tag themselves in the photo. because those are all the people who helped make it.
Very cool, man.
I figured that
The cylinders on the hood. What's the diameter?
These are only 4.
Nice.
I avoid anything smaller than 4 millimeters for the most part, especially on vertical, like this, like the top surfaces, because too much of a chance it's going to wreck them. Those will probably just stay the way they are, but we'll add some details to the side. We don't have a lot of wiggle room though, because that wheel is going to come pretty much right to where I put this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just trimmed this out because the wheel will hit this, and we'll just trim that out. Now I am going to start adding a few details. I'm not going to go crazy with this one though. There's a couple things I'm going to change. I might shave this peak down because everything is so rounded, and then you have this weird thing here. So I might shave that peak down.
That looks what kind of car does that remind me of? Like one of those...
Trying to make it sort of like an old rat rod.
Yeah.
So that's why we have the bigger wheel in the back, the smaller ones in the front, and we're gonna design new wheels. This is the very basic base of the roller wheel. This is the same thing, but with the outside cut out of it.
Cool.
I do want to do. Actually, here, who is ready for some grill work? Because I love putting grills and shit all the time.
Hey, maybe you can put one of those little, like in third-party figures, they have that little place where you can put a sticker on. But where the Autobot or Decepticon symbol is supposed to go on. That.
What?
But how big? But no, would it be too small?
Well, see, the problem is if you have a Toy Hacks label set, which I don't have one handy, but if you had those, they come in like 4 different sizes.
Oh yeah.
So basically, you just need a flat spot.
Yeah, just like a flat box or
right. It doesn't actually have to be like the shape.
Yeah.
But we can do. Idea. Go into my favorites. Because I do use this thing constantly. This is my favorite thing in all of Tinkercad. I love this thing right here.
Because like whenever I make fillers, sometimes it's just like it just can't be flat, right?
You need texture. You need a texture of some kind. And to me, this stupid thing, I bet you I use this in everything I make. I bet you if you look at almost any gun, any weapon, anything, you'll see a little vent on it. And that's just this part that I will cut. Oh, Jesus Christ. Changing the work plane messes with me sometimes. That is just something like I found this part a long time ago and I threw it in something. I don't even remember what. Actually,
I can make a hand clothes washer with that too.
Yeah, you can. Drop it down. Line it up. This thing is only going to need to be, let's call this like 8. This is going to be really small when I resize this. And getting this to do what I want it to do is probably going to be a pain in the ass.
Are you gonna press it in the face?
Hold on, we're going to have to go back a second. So because of the way I made this, we're going to have to do something different.
Got it.
Because what I did was I took this piece, duplicated it, and then shrunk it and made it a cut. So I need, how am I going to do this? We're going to have to do a little bit of a process to invert this. I'm going to make that the
Hey man, I hate to leave, but I got to leave. It's still work hours. So. But I wanted to drop in and say
daylight, and you're all trying to get work done.
Yeah, but I mean, you're online, and it's like, yeah, quick chance to hang out a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah! Thanks for coming by, man.
Hey, no problem.
Everybody, go to Larkin's. Go look at his Etsy page that is active way more often than mine is.
I got to restock, man. I'm like, it was sold too quickly. I'm restocking this whole weekend.
I need to too. I want to have that. I want to try to print more of the miniguns and get them back up on the store this weekend.
Very cool, man. Anyway, I got to get going. You have a good one.
Cool. Later, man.
Bye.
So everybody, that was Lark. Everybody knows Lark. Yeah. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to do it in a weird, funky way. There's no way around this. I gotta focus back where I'm trying to work. Okay. So what I'm gonna have to do to make this do what I want it to do. Pull these way in. And then stretch this way down. Make this like this. So basically, if you're trying to figure out what the hell I'm trying to do right now, is what I'm going to do is originally we made this little cut piece the same shape as this. Well, now I'm going to do this a little bit different. What the hell? In order for me to do this, though, I've got to make this a solid, make this a cut, combine that, and then flip this, turn this back into a cut, and sink it back in. And by doing that, what we have just done, if I combine this with this, is we now have a grill. That is way too aggressive. All right, hold on. Gotta make sure that my work plane's the right way, because if you start messing with stuff that you've changed the angle of, it gets bad. So this to this. Let's actually raise that up a tiny bit. There we go. This to this gives us our grill. This to flatten the bottom. So there we go. Got our grill. We've got most of the car basics of the car. We got these. We can call these lights. Now, like Larkin was saying, do you guys want me to put a place where if you have a Toy Hacks, Autobot, or Decepticons logo, probably a small one, a place you could stick it on the grill? In order to do that now, we would have to basically put a big square in the middle of this grill. So if you wanted the logo, you'd have a place to put it. If you don't want the logo, you would have this big square there. So what do you guys think? Do you want a square there to put an Autobot logo or Decepticon logo? Or do you like it the way it is? Wait. Hold on. What am I talking about? I don't know if this is going to print. Because this thing is going to be kind of small when you think about it. But you know what I could do? No, that doesn't look right. And I know for a fact you cannot print my logo any smaller than that and it not screw it up. That doesn't look right. That won't look right. All right, I'll tell y'all what. This is what we'll do. I'm going to give you guys an option here. Best of both worlds. We are going to drop a square So if you guys who are really into the toy hacks, I don't have any handy, so I don't know how well this is going to fit. But what we'll do is we will put a simple square here. I'm going to angle it. Like this. Why does everything look like it's off center? Is it just me, or is that off center as hell? Like it's centered to this, but the exhaust isn't centered. And I've had this happen before where something got screwy and wasn't actually centered. Okay, hold on. We're going to do this. So I know that center. Let's make sure everything's centered before I commit to this. Okay, that's centered. That's centered. That's not centered. Which means that's why the exhaust wasn't centered. That's what the problem was. Hold on, we're gonna do some detail work. This happens from time to time. You get used to it. So for the sake of this, I need to combine these to make this a little bit easier on myself. Dude, shit. Duplicate. Drop that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Unselect. When those holes cut, you want them to look everything. There we go. That looks right. Right? Does that look good? David says it looks better. All right, so does everything look centered now on the back? That's what it was, is these weren't centered. So when I was building off of these, making those, it was affecting things. That looks right. Okay, that looks centered. All right, so this square right here specifically is for you guys that want to put a logo on this. If you want to put a Decepticon logo or anything on there, you can. I am going to have to fill in another one of those things that I do so fast because I've done this so many times is I'm going to take this little ring right here and we're going to make this thing super small. And we're going to do what the hell? I didn't think I hit the duplicate button. What in the hell? Oh, I didn't select them all. All right, hold on. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. We are going to group those. Why did it not? Wait a minute. What the hell? What in the hell? Did I not hit the group button? Hold on. Duplicate. Group. There we go. I want to see what the alignment with this looks like. If I do this, and then I go 1, 2. Okay, so if I do that kind of an alignment, I'm going to duplicate this. Two. We're going to set this 22.5. Set this 22.5. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not going to work. I don't think I'm going to be able to do what I want to do with this. Well, I guess maybe I'll have to do another 10 degrees. Do another 5 degrees. We'll do another 5 degrees. So some of this stuff's not exact. Like, this is just me eyeballing stuff now. What looks right? What doesn't look right? Okay. I think we're going to ungroup this. We're going to delete this top ring. Regroup that. Yeah, that's not bad. That is literally just because I don't like having just a big open spot. Would a spare tire on the back look good? I think when I look at this car, for this design, if you wanted to do a spare tire on the back, we would ditch the exhaust. But we could mount a spare tire. So we'd have to ditch this. But there are some old cars where there's a sweep that goes like this, comes down like this, and there's a spare tire sitting right there on the step panel. And that would be a cool idea. I'd say probably for another car. Probably not for the way we've kind of gone the direction with this one. But I think that could work. So that's filled in a bit. This is just for if you guys want to put a Autobot logo on it or whatever, would be cool. We still haven't left enough room for any pegs or ports. Not everything has to have ports. We've got blast effects in the back. It doesn't necessarily have to have a spot to stick a gun pointing forward. It doesn't have to do that every time. I do want to do something with this sweep right here. And I think what we're going to do with that. Crank the sides up. And this is going to be subtle because I don't really want to try to mess with like actually putting fenders on this thing, because again, you're going to have a whole bunch of supports if we do that. But Wait a minute. I know. Oh, I got an idea. Hold on. I got an idea. I know what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. Can I get away with doing this? Maybe. Maybe. No, I don't like that either. There are some limitations to this tool, and one of the things that I really wish I could do was, instead of using these all the time, which is what I'm about to do because it's my only option, is if I could just make tubes and then you could just bend them and make a like an S shape. You can't really do that with this. Oh, that looks awful. That looks like shit. I don't like it. I'm not doing it. What else would be a good option? I don't know. I don't know what else would be a good option for this. Hold on. Let's take a step back. We're going to take a breath, and we're going to select the whole thing. We're going to join the whole thing together. So all the cuts, all the adds, everything is all going to become one. We're going to change this thing to canary ass yellow. And this is what we're looking like right now. We've got the good grill. We've got lighting, or whatever you want to use that as. There's our carbs. There's the back. If I grab this wheel and I move the wheel back to where it's going to be, give you an idea what it'll look like. I'm going to have to undo this after I do it, but I'll try to. What's the sweep going to look like? That's what the sweep will look like. Roughly. What we think? I think, as far as the outline goes, I think this is good. Now it's going to be the little details. So, like, this is when we get into the point where I can't just select the whole thing and do the standard cuts, because there's going to have to be an order of operations. You're going to want this to cut before this is added so that things don't cut into things they shouldn't. Like we were talking about this right here. Hey, damn it. There we go. Oh, front bumper. No, sir. On a rat rod? No, no, no. Closest thing you get to a front bumper on a rat rod is you might have a couple of pieces that stick out over here. Okay, so that will take care of that. We'll take care of that. Okay, here we go. So order of operations for this specific piece will be to select everything except the windshield. So you shift click that one and it'll undo it. So it's not selecting that. So now everything is going to get cut out the way it's supposed to be cut out. The windshield is a separate piece, so it didn't get affected by that cut. Now I can select the windshield, and in a second after it's done rendering, that'll go away. So I don't like how that looks. It looks very boring. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. we're going to make a 2 millimeter Canada. You guys know what I'm saying. Bar. And I'm going to embed this bar center this bar. It is centered. Now remember how we made this a little bit longer than it needed to be? Did that on purpose. Sides is going to go all the way up. I'm going to put a bevel on it. I just meant because you guys use metric, so you guys know all about the metric system and roughly what a 2 millimeters is. We don't use millimeters much down here. We've got a seat back. There's something we're going to go back to the drawing board for. You can all right, I'm going to make a duplicate of the entire car just to do one thing. Duplicate of the entire car. We're going to rip everything down, but I need this piece right here. And then I'm going to center it over here. This is probably silly, but I'm just going to do this so that I can add that much. Then I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to pull it out. No, pull it out. And do, wait, no, gotta hold shift. Do that. I'm going to add. This has to be a cut. But I only want this thing to be about 0.5 millimeter. And I need it to be flush with the face of this. And I'm going to take this and this, combine those into this, just so I can do. What? Yeah, that's fine. Then I'm going to take the entire duplicate of the car and delete it. Then I'm going to take this and we're going to put that all together. Come on. There you go. So you've got a little bit of cushioning in the back. He should, now should being the operative word, slide right into here. Whoa, wait. Actually, no, he won't, because when we did our measurements of the legs. I don't think I included that. I don't think I included the notch. And I should have thought about that, because you have to include the notch, which makes that about 10. Oh, so I gotta undo, undo, undo. Move that. Yeah, it's gonna have to come up like that. Oh, this part's gonna be a pain in the ass. You start getting to this level, and you have to go back that many steps to change one thing. It can screw with you up a little bit because now I have to do some weird surgery. So I have to now deselect every one of these, which means I have to zoom in and get on the inside. I hope that worked. You'll know immediately if it didn't. Yay, it worked. Cool. The way we had it before, I wouldn't see. It's a good thing I did that because the way we had it before, I wouldn't have noticed that this thing was actually cutting way into that. But we can fix that. That's not a big deal. I'm just going to straighten that back up. And yeah, we'll just raise it up. Changes the angle of it to look like a little bit, but not by much. Like 15 degrees. Move it back. There we go. Combine. Make it all yellow. See, how many people do we still have here? I can't actually, like in this, I can't see how many people are actually still watching. I like that. I like that a lot. There's 5 people? Okay. You 5 can tag yourself in the picture I'll put up of this tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to print this thing in yellow because I don't have a yellow that's that obnoxious. I kind of think I like it the way it is. What do you guys think? All 5 of you. I want to hear from all of you. What do you guys think? Oh, I'm out of tea. I gotta drink water. Get red. Purple people eater. Like, it's not super detailed. It's not too simplistic. It gets the point across. It should be able to print with no supports, or at least very minimal supports. So we just need to do the wheels. There is something missing. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, I could put little like wire looking things here, but I think that's too much. I mean, a good hot rod should look clean. For photos, I will probably print it in silver, David, because I print everything in silver when I take pictures of it for the most part, because you can see the detail the best in photos. I don't like posting pictures of anything in black because you will lose everything. So, like, here is a Nemesis roller in black. Do you notice how, like, you lose the detail in it? But then if I take this piece of one of the Dino Rider sets, you can see the buttons, you can see the cutouts, you can see the venting on one side, you can see everything. If I printed that in black, you'd never see it on a photo. It's one thing to have something that's in your hand that's black and you can see the details, or you can dry brush it a little bit. All right, y'all, we got to do some wheel work. We've been doing this for almost 2 hours, so I'm going to give this another like 10 minutes. So wheels. Easiest way to work on wheels is to drop them like this. Fair warning, we are not really going to be able to do a whole lot with the front wheels and it be printable. A couple things we can do, but not much. Now we like this size. Now, before I start doing anything crazy, let's always, before you start editing a thing like this, throw a copy of it over there. So when you inevitably screw this up, you can go back because you still have a copy. So what if because if it won't let me ungroup it any farther because it's saved that way. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm not even going to be able to bevel the edges, which is okay. That's okay. But you know, we can at least, and does it need an antenna rod? The scale this is, you have to remember, these are 5mm holes. You're not going to be able to print an antenna. When this thing prints, it's going to be small. So probably it'll be shorter. Might be the same length as Earthrise Roller. I want to center this. Actually, I want to change this first. I want those walls to be super thin. And I want to change the radius. And then I want to center it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if this is going to show up when I do this. But at least we can give it a little bit of character. And we can have something that ties these wheels in with these wheels, is if we do that. Oh, yeah, so that little cockpit right there is for a headmaster. You know what? We could just bump up the radius. And do that. And then I've got an idea. There is a tool. I love using this tool. I haven't used it in a while. Every time this edits. But there is a tool in here that makes, when I find it, I'll tell you what it's called. No, Roller's cool brother is when I finish the Shattered Glass Roller. Because I thought about just printing Nemesis rollers in purple. And then I had a way better idea. But I can't show it to you yet because it's not done. Because it's on my list of things. Because I have a whole list of things that I have been working on. Some of them for way longer than it should be. Here we go. Circular array. Yes, I know this looks huge. We're going to change this to circles. And we don't need 8 copies. Let's do 6. And then we need to drive this thing way smaller. Now, I did this once because I made hubcaps for hoist. And, yeah, those things were really hard to print. So let's... There you go. How y'all like those as wheels? Front wheel, back wheel. So for final fitment, let's take a look at how this is going to look. Damn it. Damn it, Bobby. Yep, roughly that's how that'll look. Duplicate, rotate, go this way. What the hell? I thought I saw something weird. Duplicate, flippity floppity, roly poly. Rotate you. There you go. And that is our Headmaster rat rod. So going over this again for whoever's left. Again, I'm going to try to print this tonight, and I'll try to post pictures of it. This will probably take a few hours to print, though. You can put your logo there, Autobot Decepticon, whatever you want. Hell, you could paint a number there if you wanted. Print the 2 back wheels, 2 front wheels. You have blast effects, 3 different blast effects ports there, so you can use 3 different ones if you want, and it'll fan out. You got your front grille, your 3 carbs, your lights, windshield, your seating. There you go. Whatever color you choose. You could do. Like, realistically, the way I'm going to print it, I'm going to print those wheels black. and then I'm going to print this probably silver. So that's the way to look. Say 7 now. Oh, people watching? So when I print this, there might be a few tweaks that'll have to happen. So it might be a day or two. It depends on when I can get it printed. I'm probably going to throw it on the printer tonight, though, when I fire that one back up. Shit, I got to change the filament. Well, I can print the wheels on that one. That one's got black. That one's got red. How would this look in red? Yep. There we go. That's it. Right there. That is it. And where's my... Pulling out my snipping tool. Windows snipping tool is awesome. There's my picture. Save that. All right. So I'm going to get this thing printed, and then I will put it up on Instagram. And if you are still here at this point, follow me on Instagram if you don't. But yeah, if you don't, go follow me on Instagram because I post pictures of stuff. When you see this go up, if you're still here, tag yourself in it because you helped make that happen. Like I said, there might be a few little things I might have to change. Depends on how it prints. But for the most part, that is what we talked about, what we came up with. I know this one was a little bit more guided than the rest of them because usually when I do a let's make something, I let you guys pick everything. You guys pick, do you want a weapon? Do you want a shield? Do you want a whatever? I had to bug up my ass to make another car, so that's the car we made tonight. But this is the fan created creation. Slightly more guided than usual. The next one I do, we'll do a full blown like y'all just pick whatever the hell you want and I'll make it. All right, so it is midnight. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna get this thing set up and get it sliced and printed. Keep an eye out probably tomorrow for the pictures on Instagram. Thank you guys all for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Some of you know who you are. Thank you very much for the support for the last couple of weeks because I needed that. And I needed this tonight. So thank you guys for being here. That's it. So, good night. Where's the button?